Hello, Blackhawk family. Pastor Kevin here. I want to come share some updates with you, really two things with you today. I want to give you a COVID-19 update and then give you a COVID-19 challenge. So let me start with the COVID-19 update for this season. As you know, the government continually makes tweaks, adjustments to the orders that we have in our state, and we are anticipating one coming up here very soon. And so I wanted to let you know, because we have been getting a lot of questions about when are we going to reopen? What does reopening look like? How's the planning going? Are we planning? And so I want to do my best to answer a few of those questions for you today. First of all, I want you to know that we're doing two kind of parts to this planning phase. We are being proactive in all of the ways we can be proactive, but we're also being reactive in the ways that we need to be reactive. And so let me talk about both. Proactively, our teams, our elders have been meeting, our staff teams, our pastors, all of our staff teams, even volunteer teams have begun to meet to look at what questions we need to have answered and how can we proactively be planning for phasing into reopening our buildings, having ministry resume in in-person fashion. And so we're trying to be as proactive as possible. And I got to say, I'm really proud of our teams and how all of these things have been unfolding. We've got great proactive plans happening. We're ready to start taking those steps if and when that time becomes right. Now, secondly, reactively, we are committed here at Blackhawk to working with our government, working with our local, state, national officials to beat this COVID-19 thing that we have going on, this pandemic in our nation and in our city. And so we're committed to working with them. And so there is a reactive component to working together with them. Obviously, some of that is coming up. And so we are proactively planning and reactively ready to respond and work with our local and national officials. And so with that, I do want to address something very specific within this COVID-19 update. It is time, this time of year, actually this coming Sunday would be when we typically start to release our leadership listings and our new fiscal year budget in preparation for our annual business meeting. We meet once a year as a church for our annual business meeting. We call it Vision Sunday. Now, we are still doing that. It is still going to happen, but obviously it looks a little different this year. And so with that in mind, I wanted to let you know that our elders have recently met, and we agree that as best as possible, we want to push that back a little bit. We had it scheduled for May the 17th for us to have our annual business meeting, Vision Sunday. And so we're looking to still get that in before our new fiscal year rolls around, July 1. But we are going to reactively see where our state goes, and we are already proactively planned and ready to have that both online for those of you who may not even feel comfortable or might be in a vulnerable place physically to not be able to come gather in person if and when that time comes. But we're also wanting to give you the opportunity to have question and answer times, because this year is a little bit unique. Not only this year will we be affirming a new elder and also some deacons to join the deacon team, and also our fiscal year budget. We'll also be looking to make some changes to our foundational documents, our DNA document, as we have called it. For over a year, our elders have been working on this project of really trying to even further elevate, even further prioritize how we implement within the upcoming discipleship journey you've heard us talking about. And man, I can't wait for all of that. But within our ability to walk with new believers that have recently said yes to Jesus or been baptized, or new members of our church, we really want to more proactively, more actively, more functionally, and more practically implement our foundational documents of what we believe and leadership essentials and constitution and bylaws into those processes where we actually use them even more efficiently. So it's not changing too much, it's actually clarifying and elevating those elements. And so what we've done is we've divided those into some foundational documents that we'll be bringing to you for a church vote in addition to our budget and elders and deacons this year. For those reasons, we want to make sure we give you ample opportunities to be together and to ask your questions and walk through this journey together. So that's my update. It's not quite conclusive yet, but I want you to know how we're proactively and also reactively ready for the reopening of our church. And boy, is that not going to be a great day. Even though the buildings are closed and the church is still moving, it's going to be nice to see your smiling faces in person. With that said, there's your update for now. Stay tuned and we'll give you more updates, but I want to give you a quick COVID-19 challenge. Throughout this journey, I've had people in both ears in so many different times saying, I can't believe we ever closed to begin with. I've heard that extreme. I've heard the other extreme of, Well, we probably can't reopen for another year or so. I've heard any and all of the above, and no doubt you and I are probably even on some different pages of what we think and how we believe this should go. And no doubt across our church, a church as big as ours, there are a lot of different opinions. And with that said, I want to give you a biblical challenge. In Romans chapter 13, we see an outline of how we are supposed to submit to, work alongside our governing authorities. We're trying to do that. We're committed to doing that here at Blackhawk, but we're also God's church, and we will not slow down with our mission. We've proven that over these last 7 weeks or so. But right after Romans 13 comes Romans 14. And in Romans 14, after we read about Paul's writing to the church about submitting to authorities, in Romans 14, he says this, and in my Bible, it's the heading of "Do not pass judgment on one another." He says, "As for one who is weak in the faith, welcome him, but not to quarrel over opinions. One person believes he may eat anything, while the weak person eats only vegetables. Let not the one who eats despise the one who abstains, and let not the one who abstains pass judgment on the one who eats, for God has welcomed him. Who are you to pass judgment on the servant of another? It is before his own master that he stands or falls, and he will be upheld, for the Lord is able to make him stand." That's a great reminder for us in this season where you have people who have differing opinions. In fact, you and I might even have differing opinions. But I love you and I respect you as brothers and sisters. So my challenge to you is to let us stand before the Lord and let us do what Paul also writes in Philippians chapter 2 in loving each other through this season. If somebody wears a mask and you don't think it's necessary to wear a mask, don't throw judgment their way. Love each other through that. If someone is not wearing a mask and you think they should, same thing. Whatever end of the spectrum you're on, let's love each other through this season as we are wisely submitting to Jesus and what he has led us to do in this season. Philippians 2, I want to read to you as well. It's a passage about the humility of Christ. And Philippians 2 verse 1 says, "So if there is any encouragement in Christ, any comfort in love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind. Have the same love, being in full accord, of one mind." Here's the part I want us to catch together. "Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but made himself nothing, taking the form of a servant." Really, it means bondservant, which even means slave, "being born in the likeness of men. And being found in human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross." That's my challenge to us for this COVID-19 season as we, as leadership here at the church, try to make the wisest decisions possible. And you hear differing opinions. Let us be that kind of church that pursues what I often describe here as unique unity. Let us esteem each other as higher, more important than ourselves. Let us love each other with unique Christ-centered love during this season. I want you to know I can't wait to be back together with you. I'll keep you posted. Stay tuned to our website. Go to our website and sign up for our text messages, our email list, and also stay tuned with us on social media and through our app. And we will keep you posted, and we're going to do it all with love. I can't wait to be back together, church. I love you. I'm praying for you, and I will talk to you soon.